AskReddit by deleted. Men who lives alone and then had a woman move into your place. What are some examples of a woman's touch that she added? So many blankets everywhere. Not a doot, but I am amused that my brother-in-law documents my sister's blanket and damp throw pillow addiction. She made a raised flower bed in my backyard and planted a nice little vegetable garden. Yeah, my wife is the one who works with plants. I mow the lawn and occasionally rake the leaves when they fall. Also trim the 2 big bushes we have in the backyard once a year. Even that feels like too much yard work for me, but I'm too cheap to pay someone else to do it for me. She likes digging in the dirt. I don't. Never did. I've always liked cacti and succulents, probably because they were satisfying to have and easy to keep alive. Enter my girlfriend who is obsessed with plants. I don't live with her, but since getting together, all of a sudden I have multiple non-succulent plants I never planned on getting. Basically she ran out of room at her place and is dating you for more grow space. I've seen our house plants. I don't put it past them. Apparently I am supposed to have pictures of my loved ones in my house. Who knew? If you love someone you will remember what they look like. CPT. Raymond Holt. A friend of mine who grew up with his dad and 2 brothers told me they found out his dad had a girlfriend when suddenly a candle appeared in the living room out of nowhere. Lol. Worked on a ship when a female cook steward started working there, before the crew were all male. Within a couple of days the mess and galley were transformed. Tablecloths, curtains, coasters, it was really all new. The galley became a water cooler kinda place where you always could go to have a chat and get a snack. The galley always smelled of cooking and she was listening to her radio. It was a real game changer from the former grumpy guy and sterile setting. Our skipper loved it. This is the most adorable thing I've ever read. She replaced my cardboard box with an end table. Unnecessarily. The nerve. I came home once from work. She'd made an awesome dinner. Put cut up strawberries in the salad. Strawberries, guys. It was game over. Been married 9 years now and she's still doing everything on a strawberries in the salad level. I love that this was one of the moments you were like, damn, I gotta marry this one, hope something like this happens to me cause that's so adorable, hahaha. Sanrio. I thought it was just that kitty. It's a whole zoo. And an egg. Plants and pots everywhere. Before my wife moved in, girlfriend at that time, I lived with a friend and our flat looked pretty bad. More like a university student flat than anything else. Zero decorations, old furniture from the landlord, horrible cream color walls, etc. Since we were always at work and barely home, it was not a problem for us. Living abroad, I always considered it a temporary place and didn't have much attachment to it, so didn't want to spend time and money to improve the space. Once she moved in, we slowly started making it into a real home. We painted the walls, bought furniture, plants, hung some photos, bought a cat, etc. It made such a huge difference and improved our quality of life, tbh. Same here, man. The old adage a woman will turn your house into a home is so true. At first, I was resistant to her changes. Now our house is pretty much 100% designed, furnished, and decorated by her, and it's so nice. She basically buys the stuff and I put in place. I would much rather assemble furniture than pick it out. The million shampoo bottles and all the seasonings. And the decorative hair strands that stick to the walls. I couldn't keep my motorcycle in the living room or my tools and parts in the kitchen cabinets anymore. Update. I tried to find a pic of my Yamaha XT500 in my apartment, but I couldn't right now. I'll bet you had to use 2 different toothbrushes, one for carburetor and one for your teeth. Pictures, curtains, cushions, little tables to put your drinks on, coasters, So much stuff, bless her. For some reason a couple different companies send me little magazines every once in a while, so I just use those as coasters. It's always fun to see what's on the cover of my new coasters. Tiny ankle socks everywhere. We broke up 7 years ago, and I still occasionally find one in some forgotten corner of the house. Edit to at, for those saying I haven't deep cleaned, some explanation. After she moved out, I gave away or sold most of my things to get a fresh start, and I realized I only need about half the house. The bedrooms and family room in the basement are basically just storage that I literally might go into twice a year, and I haven't been into one of the bedrooms in about 3 years. For the rooms I do go into, I'll sometimes come across these tiny socks mistakenly got thrown into a tote with something I'm actually after. Same with underwear. I think I've finally thrown it out and oops, there's another set in the basket. At this point I swear they're breeding. We now have, without exaggeration, 15 end tables in the house, 4 more in the attic just in case. I think you need a 5th attic table. Just to be sure. My messy fridge turned into a very clean and organized refrigerator. Mine went the opposite. From clean and organized to messy and dozens of bottles of salad dressing. Plants. I went from 0 to 6. Those are rookie numbers. I have 6 in one corner thanks to my wife. She always gets vanilla candles and now this house always smells like a bakery and goddammit I love it. For myself it is scented hand soaps. As a bachelor, I got whatever orange looking cheapo bottle I could get. My GF wife moves in and loads up on bakery scented hand soaps in the bathrooms. One day, when I got home, I told her we had to have a serious adult discussion what scent to pick out next. To this day, serious adult discussion is code for out of soap, what should we use next? A warmth and happiness I didn't know I was missing and certainly didn't know how to cultivate. Art, glassware style unity, refrigerator organization, multiple sets of sheets. The list goes on. A million little touches that compile a happy home. This is really sweet and I hope my man feels this way about me. I got plants now, I like it. Hair literally everywhere. It keeps mysteriously appearing in my butt crack. My place was already well decorated, and I didn't need a woman's touch, so all I got was hair. As a young man I didn't live alone, I lived with my parents. When I did move out it was to live with my now wife. So, the first example was scented candles or wax melts. I didn't realize how more relaxing it felt to come home to a nice smell. You go through a whole lot more toilet paper. I've heard this complaint from men a lot. They forget we need toilet paper for number 1 and amp 2+ during the week per month we bleed. Women got a lot going on down there. Pillows. So many pillows. Lotions. For different seasons. She has a method to which ones she uses when. And they're not cheap either. Dude. Never attempt to buy lotion for a woman. There are too many flavors and you're just not gonna be able to pick the right one. And you will find that lotion bottle unused in the back of a bottom drawer 10 years later during the divorce. Water glasses everywhere. Bathrooms are now a disaster. Lost my race tire storage room, and there's a cat, dog, and 4 years old running around now. The last one is half my fault. Totally worth it. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Lost my race tire storage room, and there's a cat, dog, and 4 years old running around now. The last one is half my fault. Marman. So, she didn't move in, but we moved in together to a house I bought. Everything is ultimately more pleasant. Rooms are thoughtfully designed. The furniture is high quality and comfortable. The dishes look good. It's a pleasure to be in my office. My things are organized. Everything has a place. If I can't find it, I check the place, and it's there. Plus also I got a new cat friend, or, honestly, after a week, a potential cat friend. The bathroom counter is just fucked. I once dated this guy that lived by himself. His TV was placed on a random folding table that was leaned up against the wall. There was a towel under the TV, and I'm assuming that was an anti-slip feature for the TV. There was no mount on the wall and the TV did not have a stand. It was interesting. My current partner had a huge clock in his kitchen that was dead for 5+ years. I replaced the battery that he already had extras of. His parents now thank me every time they come over. My formerly pristine white walls suddenly had art on them. My front door grew a doormat. My bathroom got a wicker basket with cheesy slogans on the interior lining. Home is where the heart is, and other such remarkable sayings. The walls in my shower now contain what I can only assume is also decorative in intent: long strands of hair. The drain needs regular cleaning because it, too, is full of long hairs. The kitchen is always clean, and I have 12 different glasses for all kinds of beverages. And 8 cups for variations of coffee and soups. The fridge keeps track of all the cards we received. Since she moved in, those are many. Before her, I received none. My husband didn't know how to address a letter before we moved in together. Now he sees how many cards I send and receive. Their home is also on our fridge. My bed was a mattress in the floor for like 5 years. She bought a bed frame. Married her. I'm choosing to believe you dropped to one knee and proposed with the nearest ring-like object you could find immediately after seeing the bed frame. I clean in the sense that I keep the place organized and clutter-free, but I've never really had an eye for grease and deep cleaning. My wife is the inverse, and we have a well-run house because of it. I always wonder if men who don't have an eye for grease and deep cleaning do this, they are being lazy. IDK how people can't feel the grime on things or see crumbs and other gunk building up somewhere, especially white surfaces. Different sizes of teacups. I used to just make tea in a ceramic 1L beer stein. Deleted. Plants that are not for eating. New white sheets, or throw rug, and she would cook a couple chickens with sides for me and my roommates. If she didn't stab me with a pen while I was driving, I'd have married her. Dodged a bullet. In hindsight, she came on way too strong. Well, that took a turn. Glad you got out. There's decorations and plants. The bedroom now looks like a human lives in it instead of a bear just using it for hibernation. Really nice decorations everywhere that gave it such a better feel and look. My house looked like a model home and she was amazing at it. Sadly, she left and took everything, so now it looks basic again. You can learn to add things to your home, sweetie XX. She stopped me from almost burning down my apartment when she pulled an entire stuffed animal worth of lint out of my dryer. I didn't know that was a thing. Dude. Photos on the wall. She said it was weird I had nothing on the walls but my TV. Within a year, about 100 pictures of us, our families and friends were up on the walls. I still don't get it, but it makes her happy and I don't care, so win-win. Deleted. Candles and things that smell good. Every woman I've ever lived with has been obsessed with candles. She changed the sheets. Like, what is this? Buckingham Palace? I've always kept my own place spotless. But having the smell of a woman in the house is what I call a woman's touch. Smells. Touching smells. Reaching out. Touching me. Touching you. No bathroom sink anymore, it's just a storage space for a bunch of random product bottles and a hair curler. Not the sink itself, just the surface area around it. The first time I spent the night with my boyfriend, He came out of the bathroom the next morning after I had showered and remarked that it smelled different in the bathroom. I asked what he meant and he said that it smelled like a chicken, not sweaty balls. Furniture. Before I had a bed, dresser, table and chair. Now I have too much stuff. Also kids. Before I had one and now have 3. Food in the fridge was rearranged, which was more organized and food items were easier to find. My dining table was part my workspace. I had my laptop, various charging cables, 3M sticky notes and a couple of pens on the table at all times. I still use dining table while I'm using my laptop, but everything else was removed before a meal. Reading at these, I'm gobsmacked at how some guys apparently live. The only things that moving in with my now wife added to the mix is pillows on the sofa, compromise on the wall art, and around 50,000 tiny bottles of gunk that need to be applied to the face. I've been living under the embarrassing rock that exfoliating once in a blue moon and usually just moisturizing my face was enough, but oh no, there's a whole process. Lots of plushies moved in with her, some of them now sleep on the bed. Woman here. I added actual grown-up furniture to a 42-year-old man's giant empty house. The only room furnished was his man cave and a king-size bed and single nightstand in his room. I no shit thought he just moved in when I met him. Come to find out he'd owned the house for 8 years already. No shade but literally 1 spoon, 1 plate, 1 fork 1 knife situation here. Lol.